Hello, welcome into this week's edition of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up presented by Alabama Power. I'm John Max, talking women's hoops with head coach Carley Kuhns. Carley, I know it's a late night / early morning for you getting back into Birmingham, but I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, of course, always. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start with a little recap. You've played 3 games so far. I know the win-loss record is not where you want to be, but the team has played hard. The effort has been there. You've shown a lot of fight, especially in those first 2 SEC games against Alabama and Auburn, of course, coming down to the buzzer. What have you seen through these first 3 games that you like, and what do you see that you need to work on?
Yeah, it's funny because when you make those schedules, you think this is a great idea. We're going to really challenge ourselves. And then when you're in the moment, you're like, what in the world were we thinking? But I am definitely proud of this group because while we have a veteran core in Raven, Tay, and Natalie, outside of them, we really don't have anyone that has played valuable minutes on this team. So for us to go and compete in those games early with a lot of new faces and a lot of young kids, I think is valuable for our team. Some of the things I liked, I thought we had numerous different players step up and have the ability to be big contributors in games. And we've talked a lot about that people have to be ready when their number's called because of everything that's going on. We had a kid, Audra didn't get to play because her COVID results didn't get back in time. And so Katie Allen stepped up and was ready to go and had a big game. And I think we're going to have to do that all year. And this year, anything can happen, and so that you have to be they have to be ready, and they have to know what's going on. And last night's a prime example. Natalie's not feeling well, and so Tootie, a freshman that really hadn't gotten any reps in practice, hasn't played at all, steps in and is a contributor. So I like that about my team. I like that I have different weapons that can step in and contribute. I think some things that we need to get better on is just the fine details of games, and that's just a learning thing, especially with new players, of learning, all the small details in scouting reports, all the small details of, we're going to need you to make this pass instead of this pass in this type of game, and being able to retain that and carry it over from a practice to a game. And I know we will get better at that, and I mean, we're playing some of the best teams in the country. I mean, that team Indiana last night is a very good basketball team, and I would expect them to go late into this postseason play. But, I think one of the takeaways last night from that game is in the Alabama and Auburn game, we were scoring early and we felt good about what we were doing, and it gave us confidence. We were playing harder on the defensive end. And then last night, our ability to still play defense and still, be in the game if we're not seeing the ball go through the hole. And I think that's probably the biggest learning thing that we're going to have to take away from last night.
How is the team injury-wise right now? I know Andrea Cornoyer, we haven't seen her yet. What is her status, and have you guys been pretty healthy outside of that?
Yeah, we've been fairly healthy. We've been banged up here and there with a little bit of sickness, and Raven, our starting point guard, tweaks her knee at shoot-around before she goes into Auburn, and luckily she's tough enough that she played the game and has recovered from that pretty good. But Andrea's, fingers crossed, will be released this week, full go. She's been running now, and I'm hoping she's going to be available for our game at UT Martin, and that will be a big deal for us because she can really score the ball, and just to give us another guard in our rotation will be really helpful.
Some of those returners from last year we've seen become role players this year. Michaela Woolard, Audra, Katie Allen, as you mentioned, had a career high at the Auburn game. What do you expect from that group this year?
Their ability to step in and have an impact in the game, and maybe not from a scoring standpoint, but to have no drop-off will be crucial for us. And I thought they've been doing that. Audra has gone from not really, once again, last year playing many minutes to now starting. And she's just now getting comfortable in that role. And I think she's only going to grow and only going to get better. And same with the other two. Katie Allen's been, she's a fifth-year senior, so she just knows how this works and knows what is expected of her. Never tries to do too much, never tries to do too little, just plays her role. And then Mac is really, I think, finding her own in this team, and she just plays her butt off. And that's what gets her so many minutes, is because she plays so hard and she knows what's going on, and she brings so much energy. Last night I think she had 4 steals and was rebounding against these big, long, athletic kids, and she's going to find herself getting more and more minutes because of that, because she does everything we're asking her to do in that role.
I know we talked about Shantae a couple of weeks ago, and now SoCon Player of the Week, and I know you want her to take on more of a scoring role, and she's certainly been up to the test so far, averaging, I think, 17 points per game, obviously playing good defense as well. What have you seen out of her?
It's funny because we've had a lot of conversations about, we need you to be a scorer. She's not really comfortable being the scorer. But I told her after the first 2 games that she's been exposed now, and now we know she can score, so now we're going to expect that of her. But still, it's just still a learning position for her. She was a role player for us last year. She was the glue kid that did a little bit of everything. She might have 17 points a game, but one game. But for the most part, she wasn't a scorer. She scored when she was open, and so figuring out how to be aggressive and what that actually looks like. Because, when you tell a kid to be aggressive, they think, I got to go score the basketball. And that might not be it. It might be, I just need you to be looking to try to score every time the ball's in your hands to maybe get somebody else open. Or it doesn't maybe necessarily mean you got to get all the way to the rim. And she found that last night in the game. Finally, throughout the game, it's like, oh, I can shoot a mid-range pull-up instead of trying to get all the way to the rim. And I think she's only going to get better with that too. And it's just, playing these bigger, better opponents. If you can score against some of these defenses, then hopefully she'll find ways to be able to score in our league.
Yeah, and how about Kirsten Nelson? I know you mentioned her briefly, but we didn't see her in the first 2 games, but she steps in last night against Indiana and makes an immediate contribution, 9 points, second leading scorer on the team.
Yeah, her nickname's Tootie, so she just call her Tootie. She wants to be called Tootie. Toots is what I call her. But she is one of my favorite kids to be around. She is just a joy, and the more these fans and our the people around our program get to know her, they're going to love that kid. And she's just a gamer. It's hard being a freshman and stepping in, and you're playing behind one of the best players in the conference, and so she hasn't really seen instant success, and it's hard to work through that when you don't see instant success. But she's really kind of started to push through that wall and figure out how to work hard and how to earn minutes and how to earn time, and it paid off. And I think she's only going to get better, and I think she's going to have a chance to really have a special career here at Samford if she continues to work and want to get better and want that role, and I think she does.
Schedule-wise, it's very similar to last year. It feels like you guys are constantly on the road, but you're finally back home this coming week. You've got home games Tuesday, Friday. It's got to feel good to know that your next game is here at the Pete Hanna Center.
Yes, it's like, okay, the shots that we're seeing go in the net, we're going to be shooting them on our own goal. But yeah, we're excited to be at home. And like you said, our schedule's not going to get any easier. We're playing a really, really good basketball team here on Tuesday. One of the best players, I think, in the country, in Chelsea Perry. She's a very, very good basketball player. So we're going to have our hands full, but we've got a couple days to prep for them. Learn from these past couple games, and we'll go back and watch some film and grow from that. And hopefully we'll see a really good basketball game here on Tuesday.
Carly, appreciate it. Looking forward to Tuesday.
Likewise, thank you.
Samford in action here at the Pete Tuesday night against UT Martin. That's Carley Kuhns. I'm Sean McAfee. That'll do it for this edition of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up presented by Alabama Power.